Now let's talk to, at 8:11 and 11 seconds, let's talk to, on Saturday the 5th of September 2020, how is your eyesight? Is a bloke that is, we get a lot of feedback about Harry Peacock, the H. He is the local historian. And Harold, it's great to have you on the program.
Yeah, hey, Dan, it's fantastic to be here.
Mate, now this here is a great yarn. The mother of the boy who was fined for riding his bike without a light. Tell us that yarn.
Yeah, look, last week I told you about those Ipswich councillors who 110 years ago refunded a fine out of their own pockets. Now a bit about the mother, Matilda Bolter, who wrote the letter to them that started it all. And she's typical of history. She's like a normal but strong person who just gets forgotten. Right. Now, Matilda was in her teens when she started caring for the children of a widower, James Bolter, who was 26 years older than her.
Right.
And pretty soon they were married, and Matilda also had 3 or 4 children of her own. And she did a great job sending them all to Sunday school at St Paul's right here in Ipswich.
Right.
But life got tough for her in September 1910 when Matilda's husband died. That left her with a bunch of children and no income other than the 10 shillings that her son Moses was earning each week. Now, then just 2 weeks later, Moses was fined his entire weekly wage for riding his bike without a light.
Right.
And that's when Matilda wrote the letter to council.
Mate,
now,
how many kids
it got
did she
worse
have?
for her, though.
How many kids
Because
did she
just
have?
a couple of months later, her son James Jr. died. But Matilda, she always did the best for her family. And that's why this is just a typical story of people that are forgotten in history. Because one son she's looking after, Alf Bolter, he retired in 1936 after 42 years as a railway guard, a typical Ipswich guy.
Oh.
And his son became a respected member of the Independent Order of the Rechabite. So Matilda's story only came to light because I found a broken gas light from a bicycle that might actually be her son's.
You are unbelievable. How many kids did she have?
Look, it could be 6, could be 7. It's hard to track it down with the Matilda.
You know what? Back in those days, there was always a lot of age gaps too. Big age. I had a great-great-grandfather who had 20 years between his wife and him. He was in the railways, actually. He's a train driver. And he had 11 kids to this woman.
Because when you work in the railways, you're working hard, so you haven't got time to look after kids at home, so you really got to find a wife back then.
You are a fun. Did he just say that? Now, this is the other one that I'm really interested in, the Third Reich's role in the Bundamba's Lost War Trophy.
Yeah, look, as you know, I'm tracing what happened to that lost German machine gun. Now, after speaking with council this week, I got 3 possibilities about what happened to it. The first one I've already heard, that war trophies were removed by council in 1943 because they were considered to be in dangerous state. But there's another possibility that the guns were acquired by the army during World War II to be used by the Volunteer Defence Corps, which back then were like the local Dad's Army here. But then there's the third possibility, and it's a more sinister one that was kept secret at the time, and that's that war trophy machine guns were rounded up by the army so that the so-called German Fifth Column couldn't use them. Now, the Fifth Column were Third Reich sympathisers around the world who were said to be ready to rise up to help the Nazi war effort locally in the Allied countries. Now, obviously, we didn't want them using their old German machine guns here in Ipswich, so the guns were taken away.
Wow, I could have sworn I've seen it last year up on Raymond's Hill.
Well, look, I'm hoping to find out where it really is, because this week I'm at the Queensland State Archives and hearing from the Australian War Memorial, so hopefully I'll be close to finding out exactly what happened to the old Kaiser's gun that Bundamba had.
You'll hear Harry Peacock here on West Bremer Radio. It's 8:14. Tell us, how can we get involved? How can we find out more about what you do on a website?
Yeah, go to historyouthere.com. There's loads of history about Ipswich and even around Australia as well.
Mate, really interesting radio. Good on you. Thanks a lot. Harry Peacock, you are on West Bremer Radio. It's 8:15.